Welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're going to be tackling something that's been in the gaming world for over a decade,
Wow.
and it's not even technically released yet.
Really?
Yeah, it's Star Citizen.
Oh, wow.
You sent us a ton of articles and notes on this game,
Yeah.
and you're clearly curious about all the hype.
I am, yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, so am I.
Okay, great. Wow.
So what's got everyone so interested in this Star Citizen?
What's really captured people's attention is it represents a shift in how games are developed,
Okay.
funded, and even played.
Okay.
It's a fascinating case study, pushing boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
but it also raises some questions about the gaming industry as a whole.
Okay, you've got my attention.
Okay.
So this isn't just another space game.
Right from the start, it's been different.
Okay.
This game is the brainchild of Chris Roberts.
Okay.
You know, the guy behind the classic Wing Commander series.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of going the traditional route
Yeah.
of partnering with a big publisher, he decided to fund Star Citizen entirely through crowdfunding.
Wait, so the players are the ones footing the bill for this massive project?
It was a gamble.
It does seem like a huge gamble.
It was definitely a gamble, but one that paid off, at least financially.
Okay.
Their initial Kickstarter campaign back in 2012
Okay.
blew past their goal,
Wow.
and they've continued to raise funds directly through their website.
So how much are we talking?
We're talking over $600 million raised,
600 million.
which is unheard of.
That's more than some blockbuster movies.
It is.
What are people getting for their money?
They're buying into a vision.
Okay.
The promise of Star Citizen is a persistent living universe,
Okay.
unlike anything we've seen before.
So what does that mean exactly?
Imagine a galaxy where you can seamlessly go from walking through a detailed spaceport
Okay.
to piloting your ship, exploring uncharted planets, engaging in dogfights, and even just hanging out with other players.
Wow.
And it's all designed with a level of detail and realism that's never been attempted before.
This sounds almost too good to be true.
It does.
So what's the catch?
Well,
I mean, from what I've read, this game has been in development for a really long time.
that's true.
Yeah.
The initial release date was way back in 2014,
Oh, wow.
and it's been pushed back indefinitely.
Okay.
So this is where things get a little controversial.
Okay.
While there is a playable alpha version of the game.
Hold on. For those of us who aren't game developers,
Right.
what exactly does alpha mean?
It basically means it's an early version of the game
Okay.
that's still being worked on.
Got it.
Think of it like a sneak peek behind the curtain.
Okay.
It's playable,
Uh-huh.
but it's not the finished product.
Okay.
And with Star Citizen, the alpha's been around for a while,
Yeah,
which has led to some frustration and skepticism within the community.
I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
So even though players can technically experience parts of the game,
Exactly.
it's still a waiting game.
And that long wait
Yeah.
combined with the ambitious scope of the project has led to some concerns
Okay.
about whether Star Citizen will ever truly be finished.
I can see how that would be frustrating,
Yeah,
especially for those who have invested a lot of money.
right.
Speaking of which,
Huh?
I've read some criticism about the game's monetization model.
Oh, yeah.
Can you break that down for us?
Sure. The basic game is technically free to play
Okay.
once it's released.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also purchase virtual spaceships in the game.
Okay.
And some of these ships
Yeah.
come with a hefty price tag,
Okay.
like hundreds or even thousands of dollars.
Thousands of dollars for a virtual spaceship.
It's a lot.
That seems excessive,
It can be.
even for diehard space enthusiasts.
Right.
So doesn't that create an uneven playing field?
That's a question that's been debated within the Star Citizen community for years.
Okay.
Some people argue that it's a form of pay to win,
Right.
where those who spend more money have a significant advantage. Others argue that the game is balanced enough,
Okay.
but you can be successful without spending a fortune.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So it sounds like a complex issue
You
with
know-
no easy answers.
There really aren't.
It is interesting, though,
Yeah,
how Star Citizen has sparked such passionate debate
it is.
within its community.
Definitely.
But before we dive deeper into the controversies,
Okay.
let's take a step back and
Well-
talk about what actually makes this game so captivating for so many people.
At its core, Star Citizen is a space simulation game.
Okay.
But it's not just about flying around and shooting lasers.
Okay.
It's about giving players a level of freedom and immersion that's never been seen before.
Okay.
And that starts with the technology they're using.
Okay. I've read about their procedural planet generation system.
Yeah.
What exactly is that?
Think of it like a recipe for planets.
Okay.
They have this incredibly sophisticated engine that uses algorithms to create unique planets from scratch.
So you're telling me I could spend my entire life
Potentially.
exploring this universe and never see the same planet twice?
That's right.
That's incredible.
The game changer, literally.
That is really impressive.
Yeah.
So you've got this massive procedurally generated universe,
Right.
a level of detail that's bordering on obsessive, and a community of players who are deeply invested in the project.
Very much so.
But how does it all come together in terms of actual gameplay?
That's where things get even more interesting.
Okay.
Because Star Citizen isn't just one type of game.
Okay.
It's designed to cater to all sorts of play styles.
So there's something for everyone.
Yeah. You could be a trader, a miner, an explorer, a bounty hunter, a pirate.
So even for someone like me, who's more interested in exploring and discovering new worlds than, engaging in combat.
There's a whole aspect of the game dedicated to exploration.
Okay, great.
You can jump in your ship chart, a course through the stars, and discover hidden jump points, uncharted planets, and maybe even encounter alien civilizations.
Now you're talking my language.
Right.
Okay. So it is starting to sound pretty amazing.
That's a pretty amazing concept.
But I am still curious about the community aspect. How does that...
The community is what makes Star Citizen truly unique.
Okay.
They're not just passive players.
Okay.
They're active participants in the game's development.
Wow. So they're
constantly providing feedback.
Okay.
Testing new features, reporting bugs, and even organizing events within the game.
So it's almost like a collaborative effort?
Exactly.
Between the developers and the players?
And this level of community involvement has both its benefits and drawbacks.
Okay. How so?
On one hand, you have a passionate group of people who are incredibly invested in the game's success.
Yeah.
They're pushing the developers to create something truly special.
Okay.
But on the other hand, it can create a lot of pressure.
I can imagine.
And scrutiny.
Yeah.
Every decision the developers make is analyzed and debated by the community, which can make it difficult to move forward efficiently.
It's like having thousands of backseat drivers.
Yeah, it can be like that.
All with their own opinions on where the game should go.
It can definitely be a challenge.
Yeah.
But it's also what makes Star Citizen such a fascinating case study. The completely new way of developing and funding games.
Yeah.
And it's one that has the potential to shake up the industry.
So after all this talk about vision technology and community, let's get down to the heart of the matter.
Okay.
Is it actually fun to play?
Well, that depends on what you're looking for in a game.
Okay.
It's important to remember that Star Citizen is still an alpha.
Right.
That means it's not a finished product.
Okay.
There are bugs, glitches, and missing features. But even in its current state, it offers an experience that's unlike anything else out there.
So it's more about the potential.
Exactly, the present. Star Citizen is less about the game itself.
Okay.
And more about the promise of a game.
Okay.
The shared dream that backers are actively helping to build.
It's a journey.
It is.
Oh, at a destination.
And it's a journey that's already proving to be incredibly captivating for many players.
That's great.
But let's dive deeper into that experience.
Okay.
In part 2 of this deep dive.
That's good.
We'll explore what it's actually like to play Star Citizen.
Okay.
What's working well, and what still needs work.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
All right, so we've established that Star Citizen is a truly ambitious project.
Yeah.
But what about the actual gameplay?
Well,
You mentioned there's a playable alpha.
Right.
What's it like to actually step into this universe?
Well, it's important to set expectations.
Okay.
It is an alpha after all.
Right.
So there will be bugs and unfinished elements.
Sure.
But what's striking is that even in this state, the scale and ambition shine through.
Okay.
You really get a sense of playing in a universe rather than just a game.
That's helpful context.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through what a typical Star Citizen's...
Yeah, imagine this.
Okay.
You wake up in your hab.
Okay.
That's your living space. On a massive space station.
Okay.
You check your Moby glass.
What?
Think a futuristic smartphone.
Okay.
For messages and mission offers. You might decide to head to the spaceport.
Okay.
Which is bustling with other players going about their business.
Wait, so I can actually walk around these places?
Exactly.
So it's not just about flying?
You can walk around your ship.
Okay.
Explore the space station. Visit shops.
Wow.
Chat with other players.
Okay.
It's incredibly immersive.
That's really cool.
Then you head to your hangar.
Okay.
Choose your ship. And prepare for takeoff.
Okay.
And the ships
Yeah.
are where the detail really gets crazy. Each one is modeled with incredible fidelity.
Wow.
With working cockpits and systems.
You mentioned earlier that some of these ships can cost real money.
Right.
How does that play into the experience?
It's a bit nuanced.
Okay.
Yes, some ships are more powerful. But the developers insist it's not about pay to win.
Okay.
Think of it more like different tools for different jobs.
Okay, I see.
A massive freighter is great for hauling cargo,
Yeah.
but not for nimble dogfighting.
Right.
While a small fighter might excel in combat,
Okay.
but lacks the cargo space.
So if I'm more interested in exploration,
Exactly.
I wouldn't need to spend a fortune on a combat-focused ship.
And that's where the community aspect comes in again.
Okay.
You can join organizations with other players who share your interests.
Okay.
Need a pilot for your mining operation?
Yeah.
You can find one in the game.
That's awesome.
Want to crew a massive capital ship? Team up with others and make it happen?
You mentioned exploration earlier. What's that like in the game?
This is where procedural generation comes in.
Okay.
Each star system is filled with planets and moons,
Okay.
many of them procedurally generated.
So that means you could explore for weeks.
Hold on, you said weeks.
Yes.
Are we talking real-world weeks?
Yes. Some of these journeys take real time.
Wow.
You might spend hours
Okay.
traversing a vast empty star system. And that's part of the appeal for some players.
Okay.
It makes exploration feel meaningful.
Right.
Like a real voyage into the unknown.
I can see that.
Yeah.
So it's not just about instant gratification.
Right.
It's about taking your time soaking in the atmosphere.
It is.
And really feeling like you're part of this vast universe.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see how that would be appealing.
Yeah.
But what about the actual gameplay loop?
Well,
What are the main activities?
It depends on your play style.
Okay.
But there are some core mechanics.
Okay.
There's combat, of course.
Both in space and on the ground.
Okay.
There's mining, where you prospect for valuable minerals on planets and asteroids.
Yep.
There's trading,
Right.
where you buy low and sell high across different star systems.
Okay, cool.
And there are missions you can take on, ranging from simple deliveries to complex multi-stage operations.
You've mentioned missions a couple times.
Right.
Where do these missions come from?
Some are dynamically generated by the game,
Okay.
responding to the state of the universe, like supply shortages or piracy threats.
Okay.
Others are part of the persistent storyline
Okay.
that's constantly evolving.
Okay.
There's even a dedicated single-player campaign development called Squadron 42.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
You mentioned that Star Citizen is designed to feel like a living universe.
Right.
How does that actually play out in the game?
Well, one way is through the economy.
Okay.
It's a player-driven economy, which means the prices of goods and services fluctuate
Okay.
based on supply and demand.
Okay.
If one area is experiencing a shortage of a particular resource,
Yeah.
the prices will go up, creating an opportunity for savvy traders
Right.
to make a profit.
So it's not just about shooting and exploring.
Exactly.
There's an entire layer of economic simulation going on.
And it goes deeper than that.
Okay, how so?
Player actions have consequences.
Like what?
If pirates start attacking shipping lanes,
Okay.
it will affect trade routes and prices. If a faction gains control of a key system,
Yeah.
it will shift the balance of power in the universe.
Wow. So it really is a dynamic,
It is.
living, breathing universe.
It's designed to be.
It sounds incredibly complex.
It is complex.
And dynamic.
Yeah.
But are there any downsides to all this ambition?
Besides the bugs and performance issues that come with any alpha stage game, one common criticism is that it can be overwhelming for new players.
Okay, how so?
There's a steep learning curve.
Yeah.
And the sheer amount of content can be intimidating.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm just jumping in for the first time,
Right.
where do I even begin?
That's where the community comes in again.
Okay.
There are tons of resources created by players.
Okay.
From tutorial videos to interactive star maps.
Cool.
And within the game itself,
yeah.
there are helpful players
Okay.
willing to show newbies the ropes.
So even though it's a complex game, there's a support system in place.
Yes, there is.
But what about the long-term vision? Was there an end goal in sight?
That's the million-dollar question, literally.
Okay.
Chris Roberts and his team have laid out a roadmap of features they want to implement. Including things like full planetary landings. With seamless transitions from space to ground, alien languages, and even the ability to walk around your ship while it's in quantum travel.
What, walk around my ship while it's traveling faster than light?
That's Star Citizen.
That's insane.
It's about constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible in a video game. But whether they can achieve all of these ambitious goals remains to be seen. And that's what makes it so fascinating to follow. It's like watching a technological and creative experiment unfold in real time.
It's a bold experiment, that's for sure.
It is.
You know, we've talked a lot about the technical aspects and the gameplay, but I'm curious about the emotional side of things. What's it like to be a part of this community?
That's a great question.
What keeps people coming back, even with all the challenges?
I think the answer lies in the sense of ownership that backers feel. They're not just playing a game. They're contributing to something bigger than themselves.
I see.
They're helping to build a universe. And that sense of shared purpose creates a strong bond within the community.
So it's more than just a game.
Exactly.
It's a shared experience, a collective passion project.
And that shared passion is palpable. You see it in the forums, on the live streams. At the conventions, there's a real sense of camaraderie and excitement for what Star Citizen could become.
That's really interesting. It sounds like Star Citizen is tapping into something deeper than just entertainment.
I think it is.
It's fulfilling a need for connection and collaboration for being part of something bigger than ourselves.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a powerful thing.
It absolutely is.
But with that sense of community comes a lot of responsibility.
It does.
What do you mean by responsibility?
Well, on the developer side, they have a responsibility to be transparent with their community, to manage expectations, and to deliver on their promises.
And what about the player?
And on the player side, there's a responsibility to be patient, to be constructive with their feedback, and to remember that ultimately, this is still a game meant to be enjoyed.
That's a great point. It's easy to get caught up in the hype, the drama, and the debates. But at the end of the day, it's important to remember that games are supposed to be fun.
Absolutely.
And while Star Citizen might not be for everyone, there's no denying that it's a unique and fascinating phenomenon. It's pushing the boundaries of what games can be. Both technically and socially. And it's sparking important conversations about the future of the industry.
It really is.
I couldn't agree more. And speaking of the future, that's where we'll pick up in part 3 of this deep dive.
All right, sounds good.
We'll explore the potential impact of Star Citizen on the gaming landscape. And what lessons we can learn from this grand experiment.
I'm looking forward to it.
We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
The ambitious vision, the groundbreaking technology, the passionate community, the controversies, the uncertainties.
It's done a lot,
It's clear that Star Citizen is more than just a game.
It's a phenomena.
It really is.
A cultural touchstone, a glimpse into the future.
It's exciting. It's sparked a lot of debate about what games can be.
It has.
And how they're made.
For sure.
Remember you mentioned in your notes that you were curious about the potential long-term impact of this project. Well, one of the most significant takeaways, I think, is the power of crowdfunding.
Definitely.
I mean, Star Citizen has proven that players are willing to invest not just their money, but their time and passion.
Absolutely.
Into a vision. Even if it takes years to materialize.
It's a big change.
It's a huge shift from the traditional model of game development where big publishers call the shots.
And players are essentially just consumers.
Exactly. Star Citizen flipped the script. It's shown that there's a hunger for games that are truly ambitious. That push boundaries, that aren't afraid to take risks. And it's shown that players are willing to be active participants in that process.
It's almost like a democratization.
It is, in a way.
Of game development. But isn't there a risk that this model could lead to unrealistic expectations?
Oh, there's definitely a risk.
And disappointment. After all, not every crowdfunded project can be a Star Citizen.
That's true. And we've seen plenty of crowdfunded games that have failed to deliver on their promises. But I think the success of Star Citizen despite its challenges and delays, has raised the bar for transparency and accountability in game development.
So you're saying it's forced developers to be more open with their communities,
yes,
to involve them in the process.
Exactly.
And to be upfront about the challenges they're facing. Absolutely. And I think that's a positive development for the industry as a whole.
Yeah.
It fosters trust and collaboration, and it ultimately leads to better games.
Okay, so it's not just about the funding model, right?
Right.
Star Citizen is also pushing the technological boundaries.
Absolutely.
Of what's possible in a video game.
Their commitment to detail.
Yeah.
Their use of procedural generation. Their ambitious plans for a persistent universe.
Right.
It's all pushing other developers to think bigger and bolder.
I mean, think back to those early screenshots and videos of Star Citizen.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked like something out of a science fiction movie.
It did.
And even though it's still an alpha,
right,
it's clear they're making good on their promise to create a visually stunning and immersive experience.
And it's not just about the visuals.
Okay, what else?
They're also pushing the boundaries of gameplay mechanics.
Okay.
From the complex ship systems to the player-driven economy. It's all designed to create a truly believable and dynamic universe.
You know, it's interesting, though. Yeah. Even with all this focus on technology and innovation,
right,
it seems like the real heart of Star Citizen is the community.
Yeah, without a doubt, the community is what keeps this project alive.
Their passion, their dedication,
right,
their willingness to invest not just their money, but their time and energy.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's what makes Star Citizen so unique.
Yeah, they're not just playing a game.
Right.
They're building a world together.
It's pretty incredible.
And that sense of shared purpose is incredibly powerful. It fosters a sense of belonging,
right,
of camaraderie, of being part of something bigger than yourself.
It's a reminder that games can be more than just entertainment.
I agree.
They can be platforms for creativity, for collaboration, for social connection.
Absolutely.
And that's a legacy that extends far beyond the technical achievements of Star Citizen.
I think so.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
I'm left with a sense of awe at the sheer ambition of this project, but also a healthy dose of skepticism.
Sure.
Will they ever truly achieve everything they've set out to do?
It's a good question.
Is it even possible to create a game that lives up to the hype and expectations that have been built up over the past decade?
Those are questions that only time will answer.
Yeah.
But regardless of the outcome, Star Citizen has already left an indelible mark on the gaming industry.
I agree.
It's changed the way we think about game development funding and community engagement.
Yeah.
And it's inspired a new generation of developers to dream big and push the boundaries of what's possible.
And for those who have bought into the vision, who are actively exploring the alpha universe, it's already providing a glimpse of that future.
It is.
It's a testament to the power of imagination, the allure of the unknown, and the enduring appeal of exploring the vastness of space.
So listener, as you continue to follow the Star Citizen saga,
keep this in mind.
Okay.
The journey is just as important as the destination. And whether it ultimately succeeds or falls short of its lofty goals, this grand experiment will continue to captivate and inspire us for years to come.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Into the world of Star Citizen.
That's been fun.
It's been a wild ride.
It has.
And we can't wait to see what the future holds.
Yeah, I do.
For this ambitious and ever-evolving project.
Absolutely.